Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. And this is a new addition into this crazy, weird, dark universe centered around, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and a whole bunch of these other characters that have free use now and can be turned into these dark, twisted horror films. And obviously this focuses on Peter Pan, who's actually a child kidnapper, and trying to take those kids to Neverland. And it's like, you know what? You don't want to know what that means. And it's directed by Scott Chambers, who stars as Christopher Robin in those Winnie the Pooh films. And this, he doesn't really have the best track record in terms of directing. And this particular film is unrelentingly grim, dour, ugly, and just so mean-spirited that it lacks any kind of fun of what you could possibly have with this dark, twisted kind of concept. It gets so bogged down into, let's see how much possible blood and guts that's almost like straight black on screen, because how grim and disgusting everything in this film looks like. And you're just, after a while, why am I even watching this? And I feel bad because the film opens with a nice hook in terms of its opening scene that sets the stage, and I think it's creepy. It does a good job. Maybe the violence goes a little too far, because that's the thing. It's needlessly violent, and it just keeps going. And there's so many horror films. This is all, like Terrifier and a lot of these other films just keep going because they're like, if we keep pushing the envelope in terms of gore and everything, that's scarier. And it's like, no, it's just demented and effed up. And there's subtlety to actually scaring people. Like, it wasn't really, there's very few moments that legitimately scare you in this movie. It just unrelentingly grim and gory and disgusting. So, yeah, it makes you feel uncomfortable and makes you want to look away, but not in an effective filmmaking way. It's so cheap, and there's no nuance to this film at all. And at least that opening scene sets up an interesting kind of feel to it, and then the rest of this just feels like less dementedly fun Terrifier. And that's not a good thing. Terrifier one thing, but this has no fun. And after a while, it's just unrelentingly grim to the point where, what are you getting out of this experience? I do think that you have Wendy, who I think is legitimately a good, solid, empathetic lead, and I think Megan Placido does a really fine job bringing her to life. Peter D'Souza Phony, who plays Michael, who's kidnapped, I think he does a fine job too, but really it's Wendy who we connect with and we're on this journey with. And then you have Martin Portlock, who plays Peter Pan, who I feel like now it's just getting to be a cliche. It's like everybody's chasing that Art the Clown, dark, quirky, demented, funny kind of performance, except this isn't fun. And after a while, it's just oh wow, he deepened his voice again and sounds evil, and he looks disgusting. And it's just, none of this feels fresh or interesting. And the whole entire point of this is taking this fresh, crazy take on these old stories, and it just feels like a bunch of lampshading and really shoehorned in references to the source material after a while. And it's just, how many more bodies can you see chopped up in blood and guts without feeling like I've been there, done that? And this film doesn't really add much to it. And then it falls into so many cliches of plotting and narrative structure, and then just setting up an ending that's just you gotta be kidding me. After a while, and by the end, I don't really know how much you'll get out of this. There's only fleeting elements of this film, like a good opening and a good protagonist, and then so many other things. It's yes, I want to see Wendy be okay, and I want her to save Michael, but that's about it. And everything else here, Tinkerbell's a heroin addict, and it's just I feel this is grimmer and more just disturbing than like Requiem for a Dream. And that's saying something. It's just like Tinkerbell on heroin and just bodies just getting chopped up into bits. And if that's your thing and you really think that's entertaining and fun, well, then you're going to have fun watching this. But by the end, this just felt like such a hollow and just grim experience and just leaves a sour pit in your stomach. But those are my thoughts on Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. Let me know what you think and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.